Me, so it makes me panic a little bit.
Oh,
But
we
that's
are
all good.
now we are now live. He has put us live.
Excellent,
See, no warning. Thank you very much.
fabulous.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to LinkedIn today with myself, Claire Forestier, and to Kate Bravery. Now, we are talking today about what's going to be coming up in the Global Workforce Innovation Summit in May. And we are joined, as I say, by Kate Bravery. She's a corporate psychologist and author of the Mercer's Global Talent Trends Report. So, Kate, thank you for coming today.
Our pleasure. Really excited to be here and really looking forward to the event in, I think it's about a month now, isn't it?
It is, yeah, 22nd to 24th of May. So you have a keynote at GWIS, it's the shortened form of what we're calling the event. Work different to thrive in the age of divinity. I wish. age of agility. I don't know where that went. Work different to thrive in the age of agility. And obviously, a huge subject, enormous subject. So I kind of was just going to ask you, why should we come to your talk?
Well, first, I think it's going to be a great conference. Just the opportunity for us all to be together across 3 days, talking informally and interacting is going to be wonderful. I'm going to be tackling the central topic of, why work is fundamentally broken and what can we as HR and business leaders do about it. So yes, big topic. But I think everybody agrees that we've got this unique opportunity at the moment to build a world of work that is more fit for the current time, more inspiring, hopefully less exhausting. And so I'll be chatting a little bit about that. You mentioned the Global Talent Trends research that I do at Mercer. I've actually been running that research for 9 years now. And that gives me the privilege of sort of tracking workforce trends, what's working, what's not working, what people really want. And the last couple of years, I've seen a fundamental shift. I think most worryingly this year, 82% people believe they're at risk of burnout. 74% have witnessed age discrimination. And 2 out of 5 believe that work is fundamentally broken. In fact, I think 1 in 4 said, if I didn't have to work, I wouldn't work at all. And that just can't be. Work is such a fundamental part of our lives. It fulfills such a big part in society. And if we swing to the executives' view, of course, they're all excited about how generative AI is going to boost the productivity. And we talk a lot about that. But at the same breath, they've said, I can't even deliver on the growth I'm anticipating for 2024 because I don't have the talent. Or even if I have the talent, I don't have enough agility in our talent models to move it to where I need it. And so I think however you cut it, work is fundamentally broken. And we didn't really deliver on that big work reset we talked about post the pandemic era. And I do believe now with the coverage that generative AI and other innovations can bring, this is our time. This is our time to think different, to work different. So I'm going to be talking a lot about the truths in the book. As you said, there's 10 truths. The ones I'll dive into are skills are the real currency of work. There's a new rhythm of work. Intelligence is getting amplified. And sharing some of the Mercer case studies of companies that I think are doing things a bit differently. So that's what I'll be talking about.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, it does come from your book, doesn't it? A lot of what you're saying, which obviously because you've done all the work on it. What's the name of your book again? Tell everybody how they could get hold of it.
Work Different, 10 Truths for Winning in the People Age.
So if people want to read that ahead of coming, they would be get more out of your talk, I think. But obviously that'll be from all good booksellers, no doubt. The burnout thing that you mentioned, that's quite frightening because it's a sort of almost imminent feeling of people are saying that to you. So what is the impact if we don't grab this by the horns now? If we don't start making things different, what's the result?
I think in there we dive into what's driving burnout, and some of them this year is worrying about financial matters. So I think with the cost of living crisis, that's really crept up. I think there are certain generations that feel they really aren't being heard in the workplace and the work isn't really working for them. And people feel they're not thriving when they don't have choices. And I think as we flatten some of our organizational structures, people can't see where their pathway is forward. We've also got old ways of working and new ways of working crashing in together. We've talked about we're going to move to more skills-based organizations, and yet we're still trapped in jobs. We're not clear what skills we've got, not skills we need. And then there's all the uncertainty coming in about whether AI will significantly change my job and the skills I need to stay relevant, or the very real concern is, will AI destroy my job? and what is my future livelihood? So I think all of those are adding to kind of people's sort of psychological pressure. But the other thing that we see is people are tired. They're exhausted. Work hours, particularly for women, have actually been driving up the last few years. And our ability to sort of juggle work and life has just got harder. And so I do think some of the work habits that we've had from the past are no longer to serve as well in the future. I think the way work has been designed and a lot of our work and talent processes are just fit for a different era. And the companies I see leaping ahead are working on both fronts. They're helping people with their work habits and their real worries. And they're actually deconstructing work and redesigning jobs, and a lot of them using AI. So I think the future is really bright, and I think there's really good opportunities. It's getting from here to there without, falling under the wheels along the way. That's going to be the real trick.
And I suppose my other question for you is, you've got examples there of companies that are really doing it. Do you feel there is an appetite within businesses to make this change? Are people really getting it? Obviously some are, but is the overall feeling that a few businesses or most businesses are just not paying enough attention?
Claire, great question, because I think none of what I'm going to talk about is new. We've known that these cracks are under the surface before the pandemic period came, and we all sat back and reflected on them. Those cracks were there, and I think the pandemic just sort of exposed them. But no, we didn't take action. And I think that was because there wasn't the business imperative to. The reason I talk about the people age, not the digital age, is talent has never been so scarce. Talent hasn't had the amount of choices that we have now. Talent really is companies' competitive advantage for the first time ever, even though we've talked about that for a long time. And so if companies don't get it right for their people, attract the top talent, inspire them to stay, help them with the big workforce transformation, they will fall behind. So I do think companies are listening, and I think companies are really prepared to throw out the old rule book and try things that are pretty radical. And that's what we write about in our book, which is an exciting area to be in this field and to be coming to the conference.
Brilliant. Well, I think we've kind of covered what you're going to be talking about. It's quite exciting. Don't want to give too much away. I suppose I'd love to ask you a question before you leave. Anyone listening today, obviously, go out, read the book, sign in for GWIS. There is a special price there coming down below us on the screen. So if you can check that out.
Nice.
And we will also share it in the comments. So register using Kate's discounted link there, which I think we'll share. It might be hard to see it from there.
Yeah, I can just see it coming up on the screen now.
Fantastic. Trying to write it all down. But if people could go away today with one thing to think about, maybe something that they could maybe do, or just start to think about working differently. Obviously, you're only going to be able to talk to the individual here, but what could we all do?
Well, so you mentioned the book as a good thing to read. I think if you don't have appetite to read a book, go to the Mercer website and maybe download our Global Talent Trends. It's free, and we've just got 4 trends in there. So it's short, digestible, and there's lots of examples if you're an individual wanting to change the way you work, or if you're in HR. So I think that's a really good start. I think as an individual, the most important thing is just stepping back and looking at, where am I spending my time today? Who am I spending my time with? And what's value adding? Because our lives are richer than just our workplace. And I think when we start to map where our time gets consumed, we sometimes would make different decisions. We can be our great coach, but sometimes we're our worst enemy in driving ourselves too hard. So hopefully, if we can all do just a little bit of that self-reflection, we'll make a couple of changes that will make our life a little more balanced, a little bit more brighter.
Brilliant. So in 10 minutes, we got a lot in there. We shared what you're going to do.
We did indeed.
A way to change our lives. And I think I want to ask you, Destiny, who's at the back, if you could possibly share that link as well. We will make sure that gets up there. But obviously, if you want to look right this minute, it's the Mercer Global Workplace Trends.
It's actually talent trends.
Oh, talent. Apologies, yes.
But it covers a whole range of topics. Yeah, and it's very aligned with some of the big conversations that are happening at the conference, because the conference isn't just about rocking up and hearing people talk. It's about interacting, idea exchange, and being inspired by one another. And honestly, I don't know the last time I have been in person at an event, especially not for 3 days. So that's going to be pretty special.
It is. And I think everyone we've been talking to has this kind of approach. It's a slightly, it's not different. It's not necessarily different. It's a more determination to do something now approach. So there's a real feeling that everybody who's speaking
Absolutely
has that real, we've got to shift things and change things now. So
there's a big imperative.
Fascinating. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you very much to
pleasure.
everybody who's listening now or listening in the future, because obviously you'll be able to watch this link again. Any comments you want to make, put in the chat box, because we will still see them. And if you attach, what's the word? You link Kate's name, then she'll get notification that you've put it in there, and so will I. And we look forward to seeing you book your slot at this extraordinary experimental summit that we're having, all about the workforce and the trends and all the different aspects that we need to be considering. So also check out info@eoceventsnetwork.com. Lovely to see you, Kate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Can't wait to see you at the conference. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.